But I'm, oops. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar with QuebecOiseaux, Nature Canada, and some amazing bird-friendly city teams across Canada. We're really excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for your patience. We were just sorting out a few tech challenges this afternoon, I mean, depending on where you're calling in from. So I really appreciate everyone's time today. Really excited to have everyone here. And before we get started, we have about 11 presentations today, so really excited to dive into that. But I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge today that the existence of Canada is the direct result of colonial practices that have negatively impacted Indigenous people for hundreds of years. In Canada, there are currently more than 600 First Nations communities, 53 Inuit communities, and 8 Métis settlements in the country we now call Canada, many of whom have inhabited this land since time immemorial. Indigenous nations and people from coast to coast to coast play a crucial role stewarding the land and protecting the species they rely on. We are committed to amplifying the voices of Indigenous people as stewards and caretakers of this land, water, and the species that inhabited it. So we're in a virtual space today. We're all calling in from different Indigenous land, currently in Ottawa on the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe peoples. And if you aren't sure whose land you're residing on, we encourage you to visit nativeland.org. And if this is your first time meeting me today, hello, my name's Autumn Jordan, Bird Friendly City Organizer at Nature Canada. And today I'm joined by the wonderful Guylaine from QuebecOiseaux, who I'll pass over the mic to introduce herself, and we'll get into some quick Zoom housekeeping notes before we get started. Over to you, Guylaine.
Oui, bonjour tout le monde. Moi, c'est Guylaine Rios. Je suis biologiste chez QuebecOiseaux et j'aide Autumn dans les processus de Villami des oiseaux au Québec. Donc, je soutiens les villes francophones à devenir Villami des oiseaux.
Thank you so much, Guylaine. And as you might have noticed, we will be having simultaneous interpretation today throughout the presentation provided by the wonderful JR Language Services. So in the bottom corner of your screen, you should see a little globe icon that looks similar to the one on the slides. And you can choose which channel during the presentation you'd like to hear today's webinar in, whether that's fully French or English. Guylaine and I will be alternating on introductions. So with that, we will jump in to our first presentation. But we all know a little bit about Bird Day coming up on Saturday this year. Nature Canada and QuebecOiseaux have been the Canadian partners for World Migratory Bird Day this year, and each year comes with a new theme and new art that you'll see sprinkled throughout today's presentation. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Jamie Morris from Bird Friendly Kawartha Lakes. Jamie is an amazing speaker. I'm really excited to introduce him to you today. He'll be talking about the ways in which you can build bird-friendly cities and towns, starting with the basis of a bird team. Over to you, Jamie.
Great, thanks, Autumn. First, just a little about City of Kawartha Lakes. We're an amalgamated municipality in central Ontario, huge in area, over 3,000 square kilometers, most of it lakes, rivers, wetlands, forest, farmland, and a relatively small population, mostly in villages and a couple of towns scattered around the municipality. Wonderful area for birds, including the osprey that forms our logo and was last year adopted by our council as official city bird and is part of the city's branding. As you all know, assembling a bird team is the first task in becoming a bird-friendly city. Nature Canada's application form lists the essential criteria for the composition of the team. There should be a variety of perspectives, and it should include a liaison with the municipality. So I'd like to tell you how we put together our team and how various members contribute. To illustrate the contributions, I'll focus on preparations for and delivery of our World Migratory Bird events. running this Saturday and a couple of other days in May. The push to become a bird-friendly city starts with one or two individuals often. For us, the initiative came out of a conversation I had as a member of the city's Environmental Advisory Committee with Tom Luloff, a professor in Fleming College's Conservation Biology program, who's also advisor to the college's Bird Conservation Committee, and crucially, a member of the bird-friendly team of a neighboring bird-friendly city, Peterborough. It's having someone who'd already gone through the application process has been absolutely invaluable to us. Next slide. Deciding who else to invite onto the team meant asking ourselves some questions. So whose perspectives need to be represented? What organizations are doing bird conservation work or have an interest in the environment? Who has useful expertise, skills, resources, connections, or is in a position to affect change? Who has the time and energy to commit to the cause? Every municipality is unique, but the goal for all of us is to assemble the strongest possible team. So the team we drafted includes representatives from, first, the city's Environmental Advisory Committee, actually 3 members, including the chair of that committee, from our conservation authority, Kawartha Conservation, from 2 field naturalist groups, Kawartha and Carden Field Naturalist. And our Carden Field Naturalist representative is also on the board of a very active neighboring conservancy, Couchiching Conservancy. We also have a representative from our local land trust, Kawartha Land Trust, an organization that protects 44 properties, at one of which Tallgrass Prairie is being restored. And there's a representative from a local business, Kawartha Bird Control. The owner is a licensed installer for Feather Friendly and does building audits to assess bird conservation needs of buildings. And finally, we have a student who's a Fleming grad, now in the conservation biology program at Peterborough's Trent University, and she brings skills in social media and design, very useful to us. So here they all are. All of us are interconnected, but there's no group photo because we've never assembled as a group. We meet for 1 hour every month over Google Meet, and the rest of the business is conducted over phone and email. Let's look at the contributions of some of them. Some of them are making to our World Migratory Bird Day offerings, starting with our representatives from the city's Environmental Advisory Committee, EAC, for short. EAC is appointed by council and includes 1 councillor and a staff member from the city's planning department who serves as an advisor. From the outset, it's been helpful to have the EAC connection. For our application, the staff advisor collected information from various city departments for us, and it's been through EAC that we've been able to advance recommendations to council in the form of resolutions that are typically accompanied by a staff report from the EAC's advisor. 2 quick examples of that. One resolution recommended the city sign on as a partner for a very substantial, I think $375,000 NSERC application from Fleming College to allow Fleming to carry out multi-year research on urban bird health. And later this afternoon, we'll be passing a resolution aimed at increasing our urban tree canopy. For World Migratory Bird Day, our EAC members made a number of contributions. It's through EAC that we've arranged for the day to be recognized by the city and for lights at City Hall to be turned off at night over that weekend to send a message about protecting birds migrating at night from fatal light attraction. For promotion of all the events, we've had media releases prepared by the city's communications department. And the councillor on EAC yesterday made an announcement at the May council meeting to help promote events. Team members are more than their affiliation with a single organization. They wear other useful hats. Another criteria in maybe choosing who to have on there. One of our EAC members had been chair of the library board, for example. And the library is an amazing partner locally. We have 14 branches distributed around the city. Through him, we arranged for 3 of the library's branches to host guided bird walks on May 10th. Next slide, maybe. The library is also hosting 3 workshops. 2 of them will involve a 2-hour workshop for adults, followed by a 2-hour workshop for children. The adults will learn about threats to birds and how to mitigate them, and will have hands-on practice applying feather-friendly window collision decals to panes of glass. That's what's going on in the photo on the left there. The kids session will include selfies with an American kestrel or hawk. The third workshop on backyard birding, having a backyard that's safe and attractive to birds, will be later in the month. At the library, there will also be the launch of a craft kit for kids and their parents that will travel from branch to branch. Youngsters will make origami hummingbirds and owls, learn about those birds and about how to help them. Our Conservation Authority reps are also making contributions. Over our 2 years, our team has had 3 different representatives from Kawartha Conservation, all continue to be involved with us in one capacity or another. One of them will be representing a backyard birding workshop at a library branch. The second, inspired by a similar event at Kawartha Land Trust, has organized a 5:30 a.m. dawn chorus event on World Migratory Bird Day at the conservation areas shown in the photo on the right. And we'll follow that up with a guided bird walk. She will be assisted by the newest member of our team, who's on the board of the Federation of Ontario Anglers and Hunters. Our third Conservation Authority rep left the Conservation Authority to work for the city as an environmental planner, and this is wonderful, and is now our EAC advisor. So it all ties together very, very neatly. Our Kawartha Field Naturalist reps will be leading 2 bird walks, one starting from Library Branch. The Carden Field Naturalist rep has organized a walk at a conservation area on the Carden Plain, a globally significant site for bird conservation. Contributions from Fleming College. Each year, the Bird Conservation Committee there sponsors a bird day with displays, presentations, and so on. But by May, students are gone. Their semester is over, so their annual bird day is held in March. But the student who's on the Bird Conservation Committee and also on our team recruited a couple of his pals, and they are leading a couple of the guided bird walks. And they spent a day scouting the locations first, which was terrific. The business contribution. Kawartha Bird Control will be presenting 2 of the free library workshops. He will distribute feather-friendly window treatment kits and bring along hawk or kestrel he uses in his business to discourage gulls from nesting in particular locations, for example. And finally, the conservation biology student with design and social media skills. She designed the origami kit May 3rd, tested it out at one branch. By the way, another contribution from EAC was providing some funding. So there's a modest budget there, and $2,000 of that has gone to pay for the various workshops and travel expenses for the students who are helping with the guided bird walks. Anyway, so the student with design and social media skills also prepared a number of the posters, and for the past month has made postings on the social media, Instagram and Facebook accounts that we share with Bird Friendly Peterborough. She also entered all the events into the city's event calendar. So it really does take a team, and we're kind of proud of ours and think that its composition makes it an effective force for good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamie. I really enjoyed your presentation. I love the beautiful photos, and I hope you have a great meeting with EAC today. Thank you so much for sharing your positivity and projects and for all the amazing work that Bird Friendly Kawartha Lakes does.
Great.
I really
And sorry
miss
to have to sorry to
what?
have to leave for the EAC meeting, but I look forward to watching the rest of it, hearing everybody else.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jamie. Have a great day.
You too.
And with that, I'm excited to introduce the Kitchener Bird Team. Meredith and Jennifer are calling in today from Kitchener, and the team is comprised of community members from across the city who work with dedicated staff from the city and have gained successful certification as Nature Canada's bird-friendly city in November of 2024. Jennifer and Meredith will be showcasing how and why they are hosting a month-long, that's right, month-long celebration this May for World Migratory Bird Day. Over to you, folks.
Thanks so much, Autumn. And thanks for having us here. We are here to talk a little bit about how one day grew into a month, but really how planning a month-long series of events has helped recenter the certification, and we're already thinking about the renewal process. So for those folks who maybe are thinking about becoming a bird-friendly city, I've oriented some of my comments around the application itself. Next slide. So if you have looked at the application, this should look familiar to you. It's all of the criteria that make a city bird friendly. And I'll be focusing specifically on what we've done in May and May coming up. That really helps double down on those sections 1 through 3, threat reduction, next slide, habitat protection, restoration, and climate resiliency, and community outreach and education. So those are the main parts I'm going to focus on. And then I'm going to toss it over to Meredith, who's going to talk a little bit about art and activism as being really part of how Kitchener has conceptualized World Migratory Bird Day and Bird May. Next slide. So in terms of threat reduction, connecting with Feather Friendly, as many of you already have, has really been central for us in helping our bird team learn about bird safe window treatments. And so we've launched some presentations and workshops. So this is section 1.2, window collision education of property owners. And that's also led our team members to comment on our region's plans for new high performance development standards, which now we're happy to report includes bird safe design. So that kind of moves us into that 1.2, which is window collisions for new construction area. Next slide. We've also focused on outreach in the area of light pollution. So there was nothing really existed for our city around raising consciousness around the impacts of light pollution on birds. So we've also prepared light pollution presentations and garnered public support of our Kitchener Public Library, who has agreed to screen the documentary Lights Out Texas every Saturday in May. So we're also kind of bringing in that outreach component as well. Next slide. And in response to a variety of threat reduction actions, we designed lawn signs that show what it means to be bird safe. So that's the image you see across the bottom there appears on our lawn side. So it's lawn signs. So those are keep cats indoors. It informs people of window collisions, light pollution, pesticides and rodenticides, bird feeder safety, and not shown here, but on the lawn sign are plant native plants, and also contribute to community science. And this is a huge thank you to Bird Friendly London, who gave us these images to work with. If you are thinking about creating something like this, they've been very generous in sharing their materials, and I know they would share with you. So please feel free to reach out and ask. Next slide. And then when it comes to thinking about habitat restoration and climate, this is obviously mostly what cities do, but we have been able to do a little bit of this in our own event planning. So we're hosting some bird walks with local bird experts at city parks, which all then connect through bird friendly cities and meeting at a central downtown hub. Next slide. Outreach and education are really the primary, I think, areas that bird teams can make impacts. And so we have a whole bunch of programming throughout May that support these parts of the application. So for children and youth, we have a Swift Watch for teens. A local children's author is giving a book reading about the turkey vulture. We're having a Mother's Day Felting Bird Project event and a presentation from the KW Youth Climate Council. For our university and college, we have a university environmental group leading a bird safe window painting workshop, actually today in half an hour, so they start. And then in terms of public installations, we host workshops, for example, on bluebird box building, art practices. We have a number of artist talks and an exhibition going on, and Meredith will touch a little bit about those. With a definition of accessible bird watching to include our queer community, and have a walk being sponsored by KW Queer Birders. And we also have a series of mini markets that feature bird-friendly businesses, from wild birds and international to local used bookstores, bird books. Next slide. And finally, in terms of our city bird, we held a public vote, and we're just on May 5th officially affirmed by council. So we have the dark-eyed junco as our city bird. And in the meantime, partnered with a local brewery And our local artist and co-chair, Meredith, who you'll hear from, has designed and launched a beer dedicated to Kitchener's city birds. So that's the beer label you see there. And the brewing company is donating a portion of the proceeds of their bird beer to Waterloo Region Nature, which then feeds back into our programming. So I will pass it off to.
If you can go to the next slide. Thanks, Autumn. So I really focused on art. That's my profession and career. I spent 2023 drawing one of our regional birds for every single day of the year. And that is what connected me to Jen and to build a bird-friendly city, Kitchener. Art is obviously a way to communicate. It's a creative solution to build invested and caring, accessible pathways to conservation and to knowledge exchange. I wanted to visit how much of a key role art is in activism and advocacy. We're always tapped into devastating reports and bad news because of how fast information travels right now. And that can really make people feel like there's nothing that they can do. So hope and beauty are really important factors to bring into conservation efforts and advocacy efforts. That feeling of hope plays such a vital role in raising awareness and investments in community and driving change from individuals to large global corporations, that they can make a positive difference and a positive change. I think it's really important that we are engaging people where they are. If they want to know more about the little brown birds, the little brown jobbies that we see in our backyards, I created this sparrow poster that's in the center of our slide there to help accommodate that. That's what my patrons were asking for. On the left-hand side, you can see Anita Smith's book cover, all about a bird that a lot of people are a little afraid of. This makes the bird approachable, accessible, familial, and just a really, really lovely story. As we're experiencing our World Migratory Bird May, I'm finding that I want to communicate to other bird teams to really challenge yourself and your city and your community. Don't be afraid to try something new and try something big and be really creative with this.
Thank you.
And this is just a showcase of some of the artists and vendors who are joining us in the space and showcasing their beautiful bird-friendly magical work along with our Junko. So it's a very friendly, open, accessible month we're hoping for.
We're also wearing our Dark Eye Junko t-shirts.
City now, so you can go out and get yourself one.
Just Google Bird Friendly City Kitchener and you can link to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer and Meredith. That was awesome. And, I really, really am inspired by your presentation. Thank you so much for being here today. And I'll pass it over to Guylaine to introduce Bird Friendly Uxbridge.
Bonjour, j'ai maintenant le plaisir de vous présenter l'équipe de Uxbridge, qui est une équipe dévouée des bénévoles de la communauté qui est vraiment axée sur l'éducation des citoyens et des responsables municipaux concernant l'importance de réduire les menaces majeures pour les oiseaux, de protéger et de restaurer les habitats, ainsi que de sensibiliser les résidents à la protection des oiseaux. Carly nous parlera de la manière de nouer des liens avec les responsables municipaux afin de mettre en place des changements positifs pour les oiseaux et la biodiversité en général. Donc, je passe la parole à Uxbridge.
Thank you so much, Guylaine. Municipal policymaking is a time-consuming process. I'm sure everyone on this call can appreciate that this is a slower process. So what we've found to be successful in the township of Uxbridge has been number one, perseverance. Lots of meetings, lots of emails following up. Two, evidence-based recommendations. So, doing your research, putting together really comprehensive delegations, or when you're providing written comment, really doing the full background, demonstrating the commitment of the community. So I've found this is effective using petitions or having people accompany you for the delegations. Next slide. Oh, actually, I'll talk about this slide first. So we've done a temporary mural at the town hall, and this is mostly just to fill that gap before the township is able to permanently retrofit their town hall. And what I'm most excited to say today is that following, I guess, about a year worth of advocacy, I'm proud to say that rodenticides have been eliminated from all municipal-owned facilities in the township. Next slide, please. But it's not all boring policy advocacy. There's also other ways to network and push the bird-friendly agenda. So in the center here is a photograph from when we participated in the Durham Regional Climate Roundtable. To the left, we've been lucky to get World Migratory Bird Day declared twice, this year and last year in the township. And then we celebrate with council and the mayor. And then on the right is we've invited councillors to a bird-friendly coffee tasting that we did with Birds and Beans and a local coffee shop called the Bridge Social. And next slide, please. And finally, it's nice to have a social media presence so that you can engage with the municipality to push key messages. So on the left, we've got our Keep Your Dogs on a Leash message. Below there, just, having reduced speed during wildlife breeding times and avoiding times where you might have more of a negative impact on wildlife. In the center are our resources. So these are our print resources that I can, bring out when we're asked for advice on native plantings for birds or other areas that we cover. And on the right is our Lights Out Uxbridge campaign that we partnered with the municipality for, engaging residents to turn off their lights between April and November. So, yeah, I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do this type of work as a bird team. So, but I think it's becoming more important than ever to use municipal power to bolster our eroding, at least in Ontario, our eroding provincial environmental laws. So I hope what I've shared today reinforces the work that other bird teams are doing already. And maybe I've given some people some new ideas that they can run with. So thanks very much for letting us share.
Thank you so much, Carly. Always inspiring, and I love the resources that you've created with Bird Friendly Uxbridge. And next, I am excited to do a quick introduction for Bird Friendly Regina, who will be in the audience today to answer any questions that you might have, or you can pop them in the chat. The City of Regina worked in collaboration with Nature Canada's partners, including Nature Saskatchewan and Nature Regina, along with many other dedicated community members, organizations, and wildlife rehabbers to make their communities a safe haven for birds. As you can see here, this is some of the group members, and they were also awarded Nature Canada's Conservation Partner of the Year Award. And with that, they have a fun little video to share, and then we will be hearing from Nick and Aaron from Bird Friendly Edmonton.
When birds and their habitats are healthy and cared for, everyone benefits. Regina proudly became the 5th municipality in Canada to earn Nature Canada's Bird-Friendly City designation back in 2022. This involves a shared commitment to reducing human-related threats to birds and fostering habitats where they can thrive. Bird-Friendly Regina unites nature groups, municipal officials, and community members, all working together to protect birds and their habitats. Birds play a vital role in maintaining healthy ecosystems. From controlling pests, pollinating plants, and dispersing seeds, they help our environment stay resilient. However, North America has lost 3 billion birds in the past 50 years due to human activities like window collisions, habitat loss, and predation by domestic cats. That's why Bird Friendly Regina is committed to protecting birds through science-backed conservation efforts. We are thrilled to have the black-capped chickadee as our official bird of Regina. Just like our city, chickadees are resilient, adaptable, and full of character. To celebrate this special bird, Métis artist Madison Pascal painted Melody of the Seasons, a painting that represents our community's commitment to environmental stewardship. We are always excited to celebrate the annual World Migratory Bird Day. Last year's event featured pond dipping, a teepee raising, games, a paint wall, and of course, guided bird walks. This year's theme is Shared Spaces, creating bird-friendly cities and communities. Join us on Saturday, May 10th to celebrate and learn how you can protect birds in Regina. Regina is home to incredible bird-friendly initiatives. The city has been recognized as a Tree City of the World for 6 years in a row, highlighting our commitment to protecting, maintaining, and growing our urban forests. Wascana Lake, a designated migratory bird sanctuary, attracts over 115 bird species. Plus, our community continues growing its Butterfly Way, consisting of pollinator-friendly gardens that stretch across Regina, keeping butterflies, bees, and birds healthy. New to birding and don't know where to start? Borrow a birding backpack from the Regina Public Library and join a Nature Regina field trip. Small changes make a big impact. Applying feather-friendly window tape helps prevent bird window collisions, and keeping cats supervised on a leash or in a catio or cat backpack keeps our cats and birds safe. Simple actions like these help create a safer environment for birds in our city. Bird Friendly Regina is making a difference, but we need your help. Visit regina.ca/birds to learn more and follow Bird Friendly Regina on Facebook and Instagram for updates and ways to get involved. Together, we can protect our city's birds and the habitats they rely on.
This is my favorite part. And over to you, Guylaine.
Oui, merci beaucoup à l'équipe des Regina pour nous avoir envoyé cette belle vidéo. Là maintenant, j'ai le plaisir de vous présenter la ville d'Edmonton, dont Nature Canada a annoncé en mai 2022 qu'Edmonton est devenue la 8e ville du Canada à obtenir la certification Ville Amie des oiseaux. Donc, Nick nous expliquera pourquoi ils ont décidé de poursuivre cette certification et comment ils ont promu les sondages sur les oiseaux de la ville à travers Edmonton.
Well, thank you so much. And I'll let Nick, maybe if you want to start with the intro. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm Nick, and on here with Aaron from Bird Friendly Edmonton, and our presentation is all about our city bird vote that we ran. This was a campaign that we did starting in October and wrapped up in March to encourage the people in and around Edmonton to elect a city bird species for the city. And the result of that is actually being announced on Saturday. So I won't say what it is right now. You'll have to stay tuned for that. But if you know anything about Edmonton, you can probably guess what it's going to be. So we can move on, please. Thank you. Yeah, so this was a campaign to elect a bird species to represent Edmonton. The the criteria for it was that these had to be relatively common, found here year round, and the Edmonton Nature Club narrowed it down to 6 candidate species, and people in the Edmonton area could vote online in 2 rounds from October through March. So we wanted to raise as much awareness of this as possible to get a lot of votes. And so to do this, we planned a sort of lighthearted debate between 3 local naturalists once we made it down to the final 3 species in the second round of the vote, which were the blue jay, boreal chickadee, and black-billed magpie. And so each of these debaters was representing one of the bird species. And we held it at the Edmonton Valley Zoo, who also is part of our committee here. And everything went really, really successfully. And so we wanted to share our tips on how we did it and how you can think about doing a campaign of your own if you so choose. So the first thing we did was we sort of made it viral. We got the word out about it through social media. So we coordinated posts among all of the different partners that we have in the committee. So it was really a big team effort from the beginning. We made and hung up posters throughout the city, and we built relationships with local media, invited them to the event. That photo down there below is a local DJ in Edmonton who made a magpie costume for Halloween, and we invited her out to the event wearing the costume. So she was taking selfies with lots of people there. And Erin, I think this is
Yeah.
your bit here.
Yeah, for sure. And in conjunction with those social media posts, I really find, pardon me, I have a bit of a frog in my throat, but working at Wild Birds Unlimited, I find newsletters are a really fantastic way to provide more information about your bird vote and your event, because it goes right into the inbox of interested people. And social media is really great for that wide audience and those little hits of information, but each partner organization that's represented in our bird team has an email list of people that voluntarily signed up to read what you're putting in their inbox. And it's a great way to explain more about the whys of what you're trying to achieve and bird friendly city, of course. And our team is also working towards getting that official city council support for Edmonton maintain that bird friendly status. And we thought it would be wonderful to demonstrate to City Council how important this work is by inviting them to our event and to learn more about the initiative in general in this really fun environment. And we identified counselors that might be likely to help advocate for us, and we reached out to them to invite them.
So we as part of our second sort of tip, we made it really fun. Essentially, we tried to make the whole event sort of lighthearted and enjoyable. One of the things we did was really made it comedic. So we recruited a really, really great host who was an experienced sort of improv person who sort of, kept everything in order very well. And the debaters that we had were sort of prominent local naturalists who a lot of people know, as well as myself. I don't know if I completely count in that regard, but they all did a really great job up on stage. The tone was really lighthearted and fun, and we encouraged people, both the debaters as well as people in the audience, to show up sort of dressed in outfits inspired by the bird that they were supporting. It's sort of like bird Disney bounding. So that was an extra bit of fun. We also made it artistic. So the debaters used their musical talents. We actually like brought in like sort of songwriting and wrote a song about the bird vote to yeah, there we are performing it on the news. So I'm obviously representing the magpie there, and then we also have the chickadee and the blue jay, and we also had a bunch of paintings as well that were made by a local artist who provides artwork for the zoo, and those were I believe auctioned off at the event.
Yeah, and so the other thing that we did, what we really wanted to achieve, is make the whole thing a win-win-win. So our third tip is to make your event give back. So we did charge a cover charge for tickets, but all of those proceeds went to our local wildlife rehabilitation facility, which actually the founder of which is on our team. We had a local business, me, Wild Birds Unlimited Edmonton, paid for the refreshments. And then that was also a great way for our store to uh, provide door prizes and just some information. It kind of was a win-win there. We also had a silent auction, as Nick mentioned, with the local artist, and all of the funds raised there went again to the wildlife rehabilitation facility. And I think it was just a great way to create excitement about the bird vote. Everyone was telling everybody else about it. And we had over 40,000 votes cast for our city bird. And the team worked so hard, and it was a way to create a little bit of magic. Everyone from our diverse team participated. And yeah, we hope these tips really inspire you to do an event similarly, or I think you'll be able to do it. So those are our tips. Make it give back, make it fun, and make it viral.
Oh yeah, we had
Amazing.
a little slide out of order there, but we
Sorry.
also had no, that's all good. We also had a really great venue for this as well at the Edmonton Valley Zoo, which was really nice. We had a great room to hold it in. It was, provided for us for free. And we also had bird-friendly coffee and snacks provided by Wild Birds Unlimited in Edmonton. So yes, that also made a difference there.
I love that. Thank you both so much. Ted, our naturalist director, is wondering if we have time at the end if you want to sing that magpie song, Nick, but I'm sure I can find the clip on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. And with that, I'm really excited to introduce Penny Nelson from Bird Friendly Lions Bay. Lions Bay is one of the first is the first, I should say, bird-friendly town designated under our small town standard with Nature Canada. So I'm really excited to pass the mic over to Penny to share about the amazing things that smaller communities can do to make a difference to save bird lives. Over to you, Penny.
Well, thank you, Autumn, and hello, everybody. Yes, we are a small municipality. In fact, we're so small, I thought it might be useful to explain exactly where we are. We're actually situated, we're in BC. We're about 13 kilometers north of West Vancouver on the Sea to Sky Highway, which is the road to Whistler. In fact, if you've driven by, you might even have missed us because we're tiny. We do fall under the Metro Vancouver Regional District, however. And we also fall under the Atkatsum Howe Sound UNESCO Biosphere region. We're in that particularly. And we fall into the English Bay, Burrard Inlet, and Howe Sound Important Bird Area, which is in the final stages of being assessed as a key biodiversity area. So we're surrounded by nature, forests, the ocean, and a very beautiful place to live. Yes, we got our designation, very exciting, in 2022, and we renewed in 2024. So that was the history of our participation in this program. And what I personally love about this program is that, yes, it's a municipal designation, so the city makes commitments as a municipality, but it's grassroots driven. And this part of the program enabled our volunteers to get together and actually drive this forward. We do have a team. We started off with about 4 people and we're now up to 9. And yes, very difficult to get us all in one spot, but that is a team photo with a couple people missing. And we have a lot of partners because you can't do this alone. It takes a village and it takes a team indeed. So, the one piece of advice that I can give to small municipalities, because some things are easier in a small municipality and some things are harder. For example, there's often no real staff, there's minimum resources, that sort of thing. So volunteers are really the ones that make these things happen. But my advice to small municipalities, big municipalities as well, maybe, if you don't have a resolution of council, and no resolution, no problem, because really what the program is about is making things better for birds and nature in general. And in large part because it's grassroots driven, speak to your neighbors, get your neighborhoods involved, engage people in a fun and informative way. Because I find that people, if you don't love something, you're not going to want to protect it. If you don't enjoy it, if it doesn't bring you joy, you're not going to want to protect it. So that has been our approach throughout. We're not scientists. A lot of bird teams have scientists on their team. We're not scientists. All we do is we reach out engage people in fun, informative ways, and educate on the risks and the threats to birds. And then we hope that people, when they know what the right thing is to do, that they will do the right thing for birds and nature. But as you can see from this slide, we have a lot of nature partners. We have community cultural partners, including the Art Society and others. Um, and I will also say that the part of this program that's really been proven quite valuable is that the support that one gets from Nature Canada. You have access to resources, you have access to people who know, have connections, people that can give information, and that is truly helpful. Wild Birds Unlimited in North Vancouver has been with us since the beginning, and I seem to be missing the bottom of my slide, but the West Vancouver Foundation has also from time to time provided us with small community grant funding. And the company at the bottom, Feather Friendly, are literally friendly to most bird teams, I think. And they have also been supportive since the beginning. So some of the pictures you see there, we also have an official Butterfly Way project in the village, and that is the third garden on municipal land right there. We have an eagle view lookout, which is quite a favorite spot. We have nesting bald eagles as we speak. We can't quite see the eaglets, but through the behavior, we know they're there. And from there, I'm going to move on to the next slide, please. So this is what we'll be up to on Saturday. Essentially, this is our fourth World Migratory Bird Day event, which is hard to believe, but it's true. And we actually have a lot going on here. We have in total 10 different groups participating, and we'll be focusing, as everybody is, on threats to birds specifically. So for that reason, we're very excited to see Stewardship Centre for BC this year is going to be talking about their Cats and Birds program. And we'll be looking at specific projects that have to do with preserving and protecting habitat in particular and biodiversity. And then we have two sets of teams that will be focusing on reducing plastic pollution in particular. And then we always start with kids events, but those kids events are an opportunity to pass a message along, not just to the kids, but the mums and dads and the grandparents who bring them as well. So we're doing Save Birds sun catchers, as we call it. Yes, sun catchers are not ideal as to reduce window strikes. However, it does push the message, and we do find that there is a resistance in our community to treating windows because we have these spectacular views when you live here. So temporary measures and sun catchers in small windows, it's really a way to just get the message across. And then with weaving the ivy wreath, again, the kids are going to be using ivy that's been pulled right here in Lions Bay with a message that invasive plants need to be removed. Okay, moving on. So here's our some photos from our previous events. We have Isla with the bug hotels we built last year in keeping with the theme. There's Hannah with her baby girl at the ivy pool that we did earlier this year before the nesting season started. And in the place of that ivy, we're going to be planting a new butterfly way garden. I have to give a huge shout out right here to our native plant garden team. They have done so much work in this field alongside of us from the beginning. And that has been really a big part of the engagement here, very important for our birds. So when we were asked which our favorite projects were, we had to say our first event because we learned on the Tuesday of that week that we could go out and announce that we become the first small town to get this bird-friendly certification. And that was our event. And I have to say that was truly thrilling, especially standing up at the event and everybody who was there was really excited. Then we did a collaboration with the Art Society about a year later on banners in our streets. And that gave us the opportunity to showcase very well-known local birds as well as not so well-known local birds and photographs from our one of our team members who's an avid photographer. So that was really a really good opportunity for us. It lasted the whole year, and when they came down, we'll be showcasing them again at our event this year. So part of the Ivy Pool earlier this year, this is our current project now, is this new nature hub we're creating. There's already a bear statue there because we are a bear smart community. We'll be putting up a bird statue once we know who our official bird is, which will be announced at our event on Saturday following a long vote. But essentially, that's kind of where we're at. One thing that the other project that we're really excited about is, yes, it's good to talk about backyard biodiversity, but what we started looking at is ways to protect our green belt even further. And as part of the Municipal Protected Areas project, we had our green belt assessed by BC Nature, and it was submitted for inclusion in the Canadian Protected and Conserved Areas database in November last year, which is essentially a registry of protected lands in Canada and is part of Canada's 30 by 30 commitments. And we're hopeful that that gets uploaded soon, a little delay thanks to the federal election, but hopefully that will happen real soon. And we have another patch of land we're hoping to include as well. And then coming up later this year, we're doing a biodiversity photography contest, again, to focus attention on everything that we see around us and the importance of our natural heritage, and essentially focus in on the art of nature. And on that, I wish everybody a very happy World Migratory Bird Day, no matter how you intend to celebrate.
Thank you so much, Penny. I really love your presentation. I know it's inspiring everyone on the call today. And with that, I'll pass it over to Guylaine to introduce our other bird-friendly town.
Oui, mais bonjour, bonjour. Maintenant, nous sommes maintenant ravis de passer la parole à Don Reynolds du Club Nature Devon et président de l'équipe Ville-Amie des Oiseaux de Devon. Devon est la première petite ville d'Alberta à obtenir la certification Ville-Amie des Oiseaux. Donc, découvrez leur projet visant à protéger les oiseaux locaux et à mobiliser les conseils municipaux ainsi que les résidents autour de l'importance de cette démarche. Donc, à toi, Don.
Thank you for having me.
We are surrounded by nature here in Devon, and I'm proud to share that we have once again been selected as the Tree City of the World for the third year in a row by the Arbor Day Foundation. Becoming a Tree City of the World is a huge honor, as Devon was just one of 18 cities recognized across all of Canada in 2023, thanks to our exceptional volunteer community and commitment to preserving nature. Thanks to the hard work of the Devon Nature Club, Devon was also recognized as the first town in all of Alberta certified as a bird-friendly town. To become a bird-friendly town, a community must do its part too. Mitigate threats to birds, support an ecosystem where native bird populations can thrive, have an active and engaged community and progressive municipal policies to monitor and support local bird populations. And most importantly, have a bird team that is able to oversee all of these initiatives. Devon now joins 23 other municipalities across Canada as a bird-friendly town or city, and we are so thankful to our local bird team for all of their hard work to help us achieve this recognition.
So once again, thanks for having me. I want to first thank all of the bird teams and the nature clubs and the organizations across Canada for making our areas safer for birds and for nature in general. The excerpt that you just watched was from the State of the Town address and video that the town of Devon recently produced. And I know it's a bit dated already because I think we're up to 30 or even 32 bird-friendly cities and towns in Canada now. But I think it was important that we got that kind of recognition. It was one of 12 items that they said was a highlight of the year. The mayor of Devon and town council recently proclaimed the May 10th, 2025 as the World Migratory Bird Day. And could you go to the next slide? The video itself highlighted the three pillars of the bird-friendly certification program. And next slide. We're very proud of the work the town did in developing and installing the bird-friendly web pages on their site. The opening page is shown on the slide that you see, and it has general information about the program and Nature Canada. And then at the top, it has button bars which lead you to the three pillars: the threat reduction, habitat protection, and community outreach. And elsewhere within those pages are links to what we're doing and what you can do as a resident or a homeowner to help reduce threats and protect habitat and such. So special thanks go out to the town of Devon's communication coordinator, Justin Jenke, for developing and updating the bird-friendly pages. The town bird election. Last fall, after months of preparation, we had our town bird election, and the Devon Town Council officially adopted the black-capped chickadee as Devon's official town bird. Coincidentally, our town bird is the same as Calgary's. However, unlike the Calgary hockey team and a football team, Devon really does love this bird. Now, during the election, we had numerous social media posts, news articles, interviews with media and such. There was heavy participation by all four of Devon's mainstream schools, and online voting was available at the town website, with in-person voting available at 11 local town businesses. In the end, 2,150 votes were cast, and that represents 32% of Devon's total population. And this included 617 Devon school students between kindergarten and grade 9 who were able to cast their votes right at school. Next slide. We're really proud of a new wetland development and habitat that was recently installed. Some years ago, Devon Nature Club approached the town to install storm ponds where possible instead of dry ponds. And the town did install, it was shown in the previous slide in the lower left-hand side. It was, you can see the pond in the lower left-hand side, and even right after it was installed, you can already see the margins are starting to fill in with native plants and such. Additionally, on the next slide, you can see that the Town Parks Department installed posts around the pond and restrictive signage to prevent grass cutting in close to the pond so that it could naturalize. And the Devon Nature Club's Al Macaulay built and installed and put a variety of bird boxes around the pond. Cattails and other marsh plants have already established. The town is not mowing that buffer area. And you can see in one of the pictures there's two eared grebes and their young chick that successfully nested there last year. And I walked down to the pond yesterday, and the eared grebes have returned. They are going to nest there again this year. As well, there's a host of red-winged blackbirds, and hopefully they'll put the run on the crows around there, and a bunch of regular blackbirds, and some swallows are swooping around. So it's already attracting lots of birds, and we're really hopeful that it's going to continue like that. So the one thing I should really thank the town, and in particular Sean O'Neill, who's the Parks and Rec person for the town of Devon, and Al Macaulay, who made that happen. Some of the other initiatives that we've done in the past year, the Devon Bird Team and the Nature Club always participate in the annual Community Awareness Night with info and displays in a booth and usually some prizes. We also participated in the recent Devon Eco Collective, and we'll be participating heavily in the World Migratory Bird Day activities. We've already had a couple of activities at the library for younger ones, and we've got something planned for this weekend. And the town of Devon hosted last year bioengineering walking tour and native plant workshop, which included plant installation in which participants installed native plants along the Beaver Loop Trail, where soil disturbance resulted from landslide activity. And as you can see, we had a lot of volunteers out that day. The Devon Public Library also ran a series of yard naturalization and pollinator habitat workshops to help residents begin their own yard naturalization journey. And the Devon Bird Team and the Nature Club are currently working and lobbying with the town of Devon to approve a parks bylaw. This will help protect our parks and our shared spaces. And this bylaw has already had first reading, and we're expecting second reading in a couple of weeks. And finally, my future vision is to establish a continuous bird-friendly corridor stretching 100 kilometers long along the North Saskatchewan River Valley. Currently, there's an organization called the River Valley Alliance, and it's a non-for-profit organization made up of 6 shareholder municipalities that border the North Saskatchewan River in the Edmonton region. Their goal is to preserve, protect, and enhance the largest metropolitan river valley park system in the world, a legacy for generations to come. And my vision is to have that corridor established as a bird-friendly corridor. And it would require participation from the River Valley Alliance and the associated municipalities and Nature Canada. 3 of the municipalities already have bird-friendly status. So it's a stretch, but it's certainly something that's achievable. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Don. I loved seeing those eared grebes. And with that, I'm excited to introduce Doris Clayton from Bird Friendly Hamilton Burlington, our second to last presentation today. Doris is a new member of Bird Friendly Hamilton Burlington, and will be sharing with you a variety of different projects that they've undertaken within the 2 neighboring cities. Over to you, Doris.
Thank you, Autumn. Hello, everyone. For those who aren't familiar with where we're located, Hamilton and Burlington are at the west end of Lake Ontario, kind of on the corner there. And the local geography makes this an absolute hot spot for birds. In fact, there's almost 400 species that have been identified in this area. And a few of them are highlighted in the photos shown here. Including birds of prey such as eagles, falcons, vultures, and hawks, as well as our neotropical migrant species such as swifts, swallows, and orioles. And it's so wonderful to see them coming back to us after the long winter. And of course, many varieties of water and shorebirds. Next slide. Bird Friendly Hamilton Burlington is grateful for the support of our team partners, including the cities of Hamilton and Burlington, who have helped and continue to help us earn Bird Friendly City certification status. And in an example of that support, the city of Hamilton last year unanimously passed green building standards at the Planning Committee, and that includes bird-friendly design in city-owned buildings. Some of the team's community efforts are highlighted in the photos shown here. Bird Friendly Hamilton Burlington promotes lights out during the spring and fall migration season. When flying at night, birds can be attracted to city lights and unfortunately either end up colliding with windows or buildings, or they can become disoriented and exhausted when they're flying. So the team provides free posters, such as the ones shown here, to local businesses, apartments, and condominiums. And the posters are meant to serve as a reminder to people to turn off non-essential lights or to keep blinds closed at night when the birds are migrating. The upper right photo here shows the team participating in a community tree planting initiative last fall, and 280 native trees, which were supplied by the City of Hamilton, were planted at an area known as Windermere Basin. This is in the industrial part of Hamilton, and it's in the process of being renaturalized. Species included silver maple, eastern red cedar and eastern white pine, white spruce, black cherry, and white oak. And we're hoping that the birds will take advantage of the food and the shelter that these trees will provide once they get mature. And one more on the previous slide. And the last picture on the lower right, team members participated in the trumpeter swan census on a chilly February morning in association with Trumpeter Swan Conservation Ontario. The province-wide data collected from that weekend provide information on current swan population numbers, locations, and trends. Next slide. As well as the team members, Bird Friendly Hamilton Burlington also has many supporters, too many to go into detail here, in both the local and the broader communities. So again, I've highlighted a few of the projects that team members have participated in with the help of some of the supporters. For World Migratory Bird Day this year, the group is organizing a community cleanup and information session at Pier 8 in Hamilton. A similar event was held in Burlington, a shore cleanup on 2 weekends in April and May. The area that it was done in is known as a litter trap and is also part of a local important bird area. It was a successful cleanup, and 12 full bags of litter were collected, along with other loose debris. Like other bird-friendly groups, Bird Friendly Hamilton Burlington has installed feather-friendly bird window collision deterrent markers at several high-risk buildings in the area. And they also provide free do-it-yourself kits for nonprofits, small businesses, and houses of worship in the area. And in the lower right, team members assist every year with Falcon Watch. Volunteers monitor fledgling peregrine falcons as they take flight from their nest on the ledge of the 18th floor at the Sheraton Hotel in downtown Hamilton. Peregrines have nested in that same spot every year since 1995. And in this time, around 70 falcons have hatched and over 20 fledglings have been rescued by volunteers. And lastly, on this slide, Bird Friendly Hamilton Burlington also organizes local Swift Watch Ontario counts every year. Chimney swift roosts and nesting sites are monitored on 4 specific days in May and June, and the data collected is used by Birds Canada to help guide swift stewardship and conservation efforts. Next slide. Some of the team projects include the installation of several nesting structures in the area. In the upper right is a red-necked grebe platform that was installed in the sheltered cove of Lake Ontario off Burlington's Burloak Waterfront Park late in the 2024 breeding season. The platform was modeled after successful ones that had been installed in Toronto. Due to the late start, we didn't get grebes nesting on the platform last year, but we were encouraged by the fact that the platform was able to withstand some nasty storms when it was in the water. It was put in storage when the breeding season ended, and it's back in the water as of late April. Below the grebe platform shows some bluebird or tree swallow nesting boxes that were repaired and restored at a green space in North Burlington. Rotted roofs were replaced, the units were cleaned out, the exteriors painted, and mouse guards and predator baffles were installed. Both bluebirds and swallows have nested there in past years, and so far this year, there's tree swallows that have set up residence. And to the left of that shows a wood duck or hooded merganser nest box that was built and installed in 2023 on private property in the Hamilton area that has a pond. It hasn't been used by the birds yet, but they're back on the pond this year. And we're hoping that once they find it, they will fall in love with it and come back to it year after year. And finally, a purple martin nesting house was installed in Hamilton and 2024 at Pier 8 on the waterfront, thanks to a grant from Nature Canada and the support of team partner Green Venture. It was also too late in the season to attract martins, but we're hoping to allure them in this year with the help of an owl decoy, as well as the playing of dawn song recordings through a speaker. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's the sound of chattering sub-adult martins. Next slide. Other project highlights include the installation of a bird garden at the Salvation Army's Ellen Osler home, also thanks to grant support from Nature Canada. This is a community reintegration residence for women, where native plants, including goldenrod, milkweed, ninebark, woodland strawberries, and New Jersey teas were donated. All of these plants that were selected provide food or shelter or both for the birds. As well, a bird ID pocket guide was provided with the plants. Now, being waterfront cities, a lot of fishing happens in the area, which means a lot of fishing lines, lures, and hooks that can pose a hazard to local wildlife, such as the materials shown in the center photo. In partnership with Hobotstee Wildlife Refuge, fishing line receptacles have been installed on the waterfront in both Hamilton and Burlington. The receptacles prevent the materials from ending up in litter or in garbage cans, and that can put birds or other wildlife at risk. The lines and lures are sent to Berkeley Fishing Gear for recycling, and the hooks are kept by bird-friendly Hamilton Burlington to prevent disposal in the garbage and potential reintroduction into the environment. And finally, like other bird-friendly cities mentioned here, Hamilton and Burlington conducted online nominations and polls for the public to vote on their choices for city birds. And I don't think anyone was surprised with the results. The winner in Hamilton was the beloved peregrine falcon, while in Burlington, it was the trumpeter swan.
Thank you so much, Doris. I really appreciate your presentation today and for all the great work being done in the area. And we'll be sure to send links to all the bird teams presenting today in our follow-up. And with that, I'm excited to pass the mic over to Guylaine to introduce our final speaker from the borough of Saint Laurent in Montreal. Thanks, Guylaine.
Oui, j'ai maintenant le plaisir de présenter Saint-Laurent au Québec. Saint-Laurent, en fait, c'est un arrondissement très dynamique de Montréal qui est reconnu par son engagement avec le développement urbain durable, notamment grâce à des règlements
Development,
architecturaux
when we're talking
parmi les
about
plus
architecture,
exotiques au pays pour éviter les collisions des
to
oiseaux avec les humains, mais
avoid
aussi avec
collision
l'adoption
between
des mesures
birds
visant à réduire la pollution
and
lumineuse
also
par
to reduce
l'éclairage. Donc, je vais laisser la parole
light
à
pollution
l'équipe
in
de
our
Saint-Laurent.
streets. So I'm happy to present here. Hi, so what Gillian has said, so the particular point about Saint Laurent, it's been a decade that we're working on nature conservation. And so they're based on all of our local plans and our climate change, the climate change that we're witnessing when we're talking about the biodiversity that is reached here in Saint Laurent. So this really allows us to create a flow between our natural environments, north and south. So this is in an adjacent point to a park called Bois Saint Laurent, and so this is based on the island of Montreal, and these are all initiatives that are coming from this neighborhood. And so thank you, Guylaine. We have adopted many strategies that I would like to let Kenza explain to you. And Saint Laurent was also has an identity and an approach that's pretty rigorous in its way of operating and in its systematic way of functioning to follow up in an ecological way. And so We have invested a lot on awareness and education of our citizens. We have a program that is specific for the neighborhood, which will allow our citizens to discover the Laurentians and the to by financing and funding different citizens and to identify also our insects and to ensure that our initiatives on the protection of on nature protection has good funding. So hi everybody, I'm here to talk about on my end, I would like to talk about the team, the urban team, who created a mandate to put into place dispositions that would allow us to respect, create a space to respect our birds, right? So like we have a culture of eco-development that is based on our urban rules to protect the environment. And so we have pointed to the conservation of birds and light pollution, which is in face of our climate emergency. And when we're talking about the protection of our environment.
Next slide, please.
So here, when we're looking at the analysis and you look at the examples of what is being built, we have a territory that's extremely diversified. We have a lot of buildings at 65% that is industrial. So we have a lot of buildings that have these impacts at a certain level. And we will also find these buildings that are higher, getting higher and higher in their height. And so we have to adjust to this in our environment. So in terms of our method, firstly, we have looked at what we can find in terms of precedent. We've done an analysis in Toronto and in Ottawa and in Montreal, and we saw that we've approaches on bird conservation. And in terms of literature, we saw what was succeeded by the CSA, and Quebec Birds have been a partner of ours. And so our colleagues, is it on the level of the Division of the Environment, but also from Parks Montreal, we've built different products that can be found on the market here in Quebec, just to create products that are within regulation that can be found, right? So when we talked about the conception of buildings and light pollution, we also created laws to create an attack towards this. And so in the next slide, we will see that this is done in two parts. The first part is dispositions that we have to respect when we're talking about windows. So when we're talking about buildings that have 50% only windows, we have to make sure that the windows that are checked to minimize the transparency of windows and to protect our birds. So we've worked to really put into words these new bylaws, these laws that we want to put in place. And here, we can bring you to a website that will summarize this whole objective of ours. And so on the next slide, you will see on the bylaws that we wanted to create. These are the sectors that are a bit more sensitive that we wanted to integrate into our into our bylaws. And so for the sectors, like we have mentioned, that are natural on our territory that are based more on our goals. And so this will ensure us to be able to put into place more and more natural habitats in our cityscape. So thank you so much.
Merci beaucoup à l'équipe de
So
Saint-Laurent
thank
de
you
très,
so
très,
much
très
to
belles
the entire
initiatives
team at Saint Laurent for
qui ont
your
fait
initiatives
vraiment
and
aider notre
for
belle
helping
faune et les
our environment.
dans le pays. Donc, je passe la
So
parole
I will
à
give the
Automne.
speech to Madame Auton.
Thank you so much, Kenza and Jose, and to our amazing interpreter, Emily, for joining us today, and for everyone on today's call, all of our lovely panelists, and everyone joining us in the attendees today. I know we've gone a bit over time, so if folks do need to hop off, that's totally fine. But I did want to leave the next 5 minutes for Q&As. And I also I wanted to reiterate Kenza and Jose's point that St. Laurent's bird safe bylaw is very comprehensive, and I highly recommend to check it out on their website via that QR code. We'll be sharing the slides with attendees afterwards, as well as the recording and links to everyone's website and social media who's on the panel here today. Guylaine and I really hope that today has been inspiring for everyone, regardless of where you currently are in your bird-friendly city journey. And so with that, we had a lot of the questions answered during the presentation. But would anyone like to take a stab at Shen's question, who asks, what challenges have you experienced in informing the public about becoming more bird friendly? And are there specific examples that have helped to shift this perspective?
Can I take that one, Autumn?
Yeah, go for it, Penny.
Yeah, I really relate to that issue. I think one of the things that we did, because we're not scientists, but what we're saying is science-based, it was really important for us to use everyday language. And this is really about getting people excited as opposed to that's why I loved some of the presentations today. They were so relatable. And I think that's really important is to whatever you're saying to your community, which you all know better than any of us, is just to make it very relatable to your community and your neighbors.
That's a great point, Penny. Thank you. And another question we have, this is for Bird Friendly Edmonton from Rocky. Have you posted this on the Bird Friendly Edmonton site? Ways to get out to vote. More than winning councillors got in the last election. I guess that specific piece.
Yeah, I
Well,
wasn't.
sorry, go ahead,
Go
Nick.
ahead. No, it's okay. You go.
Oh, it's okay, you go. No, I was just gonna say I'm actually not sure, but maybe you know the answer to that.
I don't either. I think you've been on that team longer than I have. I haven't myself put anything on our website itself, but yeah. Short answer, I don't know.
No,
But
no
we will
worries.
look into it.
Yes.
That's totally okay. This question comes from Thomas. In terms of threat reduction, how to know whether any of the certified cities have had to address low-flying aircraft as an issue. Very interesting webinar. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Guess that I'll just put that out to the group. I'm not sure what they necessarily mean by low-flying aircraft. I know that drones can sometimes be an issue. Some communities do have like
Well,
drone.
I don't know if this is helpful, but we have the Durham Flight School, but I don't think that they pose any real. I don't think it's ever that low that it's going to interfere. And luckily, I mean, the flight school operates during the day, and as we know, most of our songbirds are migrating at night. So hopefully, the time schedule isn't conflicting.
Good point. Thank you, Carly. And then I guess this might also be for Doris or anyone else who's done fishing line receptacles. How can we report fishing lines left on the shore, and birds that get tangled in it?
Personally, I'm not sure on that, if it would be a bylaw officer issue that you might report to. If anyone else has any thoughts on that.
I can maybe jump in with some of my experience here in Ottawa and talking to Toronto Wildlife Center. One of their most viral trumpeter swans, Mango, has been brought to Toronto Wildlife Center multiple times because of this issue. And so if you have a nearby wildlife rescue association, whether that's Toronto Wildlife Center or Safe Wings Ottawa, we have a volunteer team who can come out there and remove the bird that is tangled in the wire and then bring it to a local rehab center. If you're not sure of that, I would give your local rehab center and animal care services a call to get you in touch with the closest location. And I guess as a follow-up question, either for Doris or Carly, how did you get those receptacles near the fishing sites?
Well, I know in Hamilton that Bird Friendly worked with the local wildlife rehab center, which is Hobbotsty, and they're out of Jarvis, Ontario. So I know that they played a big role in getting those put up. So you're absolutely right on them. It's, working with the local rehabbers wherever they happen to be.
So I don't have receptacles in Uxbridge yet, but I do. Most people probably know I'm a part of a couple bird-friendly city teams. So in Selwyn, we have a couple receptacles, and these I just asked permission, and we put them up at the public boat launches.
Thank you. And Sarah has also just shared a Protect Your Gear link in the Q&A there as well. And Dawn, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that if you approach the local town council, you can get receptacles installed, especially if you have a boat launch or something like that. There's an obligation uh, f- to protect world migratory birds, which most of the ducks and geese and things that'll be along the shore would require anyways. So I think there would be just a matter of them spending a little bit of dollars and putting up a post and a sign, and people would do it.
Absolutely. Great point, Dawn. And last question we have from Chris is any suggestions for how to increase participation in votes for the city bird? They're doing Bird of the Year, but in our first year, we didn't have a particularly high rate of participation. Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, I mean that was a question that we asked ourselves a lot, and I mean I think met, if not surpassed, our highest goal, which was really great in that. And some of the things that worked out for us were we were lucky in that we got like approached by the media a lot. So there was like a period of like a month or so where I think I was like on the news like once every couple of weeks. And also just like sending out like cold calls to media and stuff like that, like locally based things to just get the word out. And that kind of I found created sort of like a snowballing effect where like you talk about it to like one person, somebody else wants to talk about it and stuff. So it kind of becomes like a self-generating thing. And also experimenting with other things. Like I have like my own nature themed TikTok channel where I just like talked about it on there, and like word got out on there. So getting like really creative with it can help.
Great points. Penny and Dawn, would you like to add anything quickly before we wrap up today's call?
One
Yes, just
thing,
re
one
sorry,
thing that
Dawn.
worked for us was we got the schools involved. We approached all three of the mainstream schools in town, and once we got them involved, then the number of votes really goes up. As well, we got the town involved, and they helped promote the event as well. So that's something somebody else might want to use.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And local community groups, the municipality. The other thing is just word of mouth. In a small town, especially, We don't have the media that the big cities have. We don't have the radio station and all the rest of it. So it really is about speaking to your neighbors and just saying, have you voted? Have you voted?
Absolutely. Well, thank you again to all of our panelists, all of our attendees, to our interpreter, Emily, and thank you to all the bird-friendly city teams across the country. Make sure to check out bird.day.ca to find a nearby Bird Day event near you. There's over 60, and I can't wait to hear how Saturday goes. Happy birding, everyone. Take care.
Happy birthday, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.